Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video this morning I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news, keeping you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United. This is your transfer daily show like we do every single day. So I am going to be giving you some more additional information on James Maddison, also going to be talking with you a bit more about Paul Pogba like I've been updating you on a regular basis. Also going to talk with you a bit more about Harry Kane. I've also been talking with you a lot about Harry Kane because obviously there's a lot of rumours about Kane possibly leaving Tottenham this summer. And also going to talk with you a bit more about Jadon Sancho. So the first topic of development I am going to start with is James Maddison. So as you all know, Manchester United are still interested in signing James Maddison in the summer transfer window. Now, a bit of speculation is being fueled up because James Maddison has come out and, picked, the best players he has ever played against. And two of them are Manchester United players, and that's Harry Maguire, because don't forget Harry Maguire is a former Leicester player. And also, too, he said, Marcus Rashford is also one of the best players he's ever played against, and so too Jadon Sancho. So with him coming out with this has fueled speculation up. Now, we've been relentlessly linked with James Maddison. Now, I know that there's been reports coming out of the mainstream media in the last couple of days saying that James Maddison is expected to sign a new contract with Leicester, because James Maddison at the moment has got 3 years left on his current contract with Leicester. But I think, we're actually, seeing James Maddison as an alternative to Jack Grealish, because he has been reports emerging out now saying that we could miss out on Jack Grealish in the summer due to the incident, with his Range Rover. But I won't fully disregard it because I still think, there's a chance that Manchester United could sign Jack Grealish in the summer transfer window. But, they are both very, very good players, to be honest with you. James Maddison is now into his second season with Leicester, and I think he's been a revelation this season. I think James Maddison is replicating what he did in his first season with Leicester. Don't forget James Maddison last season in the Premier League created more chances than any other player in the Premier League. So that was a very, very good start. James Maddison, I think, has made around 70 appearances for Leicester in all competitions. 64 of those appearances have come in the Premier League. Leicester paid around £20 million for him from Norwich in the summer of 2018. He did enjoy a good couple of years in the Championship with Norwich. He also had a loan spell in Scotland with Aberdeen, and he began his career with Coventry, did the player. And don't forget, James Maddison is only at the age of 23, and he's predominantly an attacking midfielder. But, Leicester, want to do everything they can to convince James Maddison to remain loyal to them, because, Leicester have lost quite a few of their imperative players in recent years. So this is what I've mentioned before. They lost Harry Maguire last summer to us for it, but they got £80 million for him. They also lost Danny Drinkwater and N'Golo Kante to Chelsea. And they also lost Raheem Mahrez to Man City in the summer of 2018. I think for us to convince Leicester to offload him, we'd have to probably pay in the 60 odd or 70 odd million pound range for the player. But as you all know, Manchester United are looking for an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. So would you like to see James Maddison come to Manchester United in the summer transfer window? Do let me know in the comments below. But I've got to be honest with you, he has flourished under Brendan Rodgers' guidance as the player. So let me know if you'd like to see James Maddison come in. But I'm still sceptical like will happen, because I think he'll end up signing a new contract with Leicester. Brendan Rodgers has given his overarching view on this speculation. And Brendan Rodgers, says that contract negotiations have been going on for quite some time with the player. And he insists that, James Maddison is happy with Leicester. So that's the latest news on James Maddison. Now, we will delve into news on Paul Pogba. So I still believe that Paul Pogba wants to leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. Now, United fans have got different perceptions on Paul Pogba. Some United fans would keep him and some United fans would let him go. Don't get me wrong, if Manchester United decided to let him go in the summer, it would help us with our rebuilding process, because we'd generate quite a bit of money for Pogba's departure. Plus, it'd free up our wage bill completely because Pogba is one of the highest paid players at the football club, and he is our most expensive signing because Manchester United paid £89 million for him from Juventus. Now, some United fans do actually, believe he will be at Manchester United next season because obviously, revert back a couple of weeks ago during Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference in Austria. He actually said that Paul Pogba will remain at Manchester United, and he also said it after the 5-0 win against Lask. So basically then he reiterated what Pogba had said quite a few weeks ago, because Pogba did say prior to the last game that he's interested in staying at Manchester United and that he's interested in extending his contract at the football club. And there was reports emerging out saying the other week that Man United were set to hold negotiations over extending Pogba's contract at the club until 2022. Because as it stands at the moment, Pogba's got like a year left on his contract, but the club do have an option to extend it by a further year. But I think one of the main explanations why I did say he was interested in staying at Man United is because he believes he can form a good partnership with Bruno Fernandes. And I think, he would complement Bruno Fernandes in our midfield because Paul Pogba is aware of the impact that Bruno Fernandes has made. Bruno Fernandes has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. 3 goals and 3 assists, I think. And, he won Premier League Player of the Month for February. So you've got to be honest, he is making the difference in the team. Is Bruno Fernandes, and definitely the best player we've recruited in since the Alex Ferguson era. But Solskjaer's looking for someone, to partner up with Bruno Fernandes in our midfield. But I don't know if Pogba's going to be staying or he's going to be going. Obviously, revert back to last summer. Pogba said, he wanted to leave the football club because he was seeking for a new challenge, and actually publicly admitted that I wanted to leave the football club, but he didn't. Obviously, there was a lot of speculation about Pogba leaving Manchester United back under the Jose Mourinho era because Paul Pogba enjoyed a very difficult relationship with Jose Mourinho. And since he rejoined Manchester United from Juventus back in 2016, he has had a long-running transfer saga, so I think the club just need to resolve Paul Pogba's future. Now, there's still reports linking him with a move to Real Madrid. He could still possibly go to Real Madrid in the summer. Obviously, last summer his preference was a move to Real Madrid. But revert back to last summer, we wanted around £180 million for Paul Pogba last summer. But that's just over double than what we paid from Juventus back in 2016. But last summer, Real Madrid were not willing to meet what we was demanding for the player. They was not willing to meet what we was demanding for the player, so this is why the move didn't materialise. Obviously, there's also talks about him making a return back to Juventus because don't forget, Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus, and there's been quite a few talks of swap deals happening. Obviously, there's been talks of De Ligt coming to Manchester United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going back to Juventus. I think Man United are open to doing this as long as Juventus offer De Ligt plus some money in exchange. Also, there's been talks of Ramsey coming to Manchester United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going back to Juventus. But, we've quoted out, disregarding any swap deals, we want at least £100 million for Paul Pogba this summer, maybe even more than £100 million. Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, has been talking since the turn of the year. He came out the other week, didn't he? And he said, he wants to take a great footballer to Real Madrid. And he believes that Paul Pogba's having a complicated time at Manchester United. Because, he has sustained quite a few injuries in his Man United career, especially this season. Pogba's appearances have been limited this season. He's only played 8 times for the football club. The last time Paul Pogba played was on Boxing Day, and the last time he started from the start was back in September. So his appearances have been limited this season. Now, as you all know, due to the coronavirus pandemic, quite a lot of clubs across the world could lose millions in transfer revenues because quite a lot of clubs are under financial pressure due to this coronavirus. And also, it did actually say a couple of days ago in the mainstream media that Pogba is worth just £31 million. Obviously, with him not playing much this season, with the length on his contract and that, and plus, with this crisis going on and that. But obviously, we're not going to let Paul Pogba go for £31 million. Pogba will play again for Manchester United. That's something I can assure with you. Because when the season does eventually resume, Paul Pogba, will play again. So that's positive news. That is definitely, positive news. But, Mini Raiola, we've been very, very critical of him because like he was saying at the start of the year, he said that Paul Pogba is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's property. He also said criticised Gary Neville and stuff like that. And, we're being very, very critical of him. We said Paul Pogba is likely to leave Manchester United if Man United fail to qualify for the Champions League. But Ed Woodward has been in negotiations with Mini Raiola, to try and resolve Paul Pogba's future and to stop Mini Raiola making public attacks against the football club, because he's made a number of public attacks against the club since the turn of the year. But, I don't know what's happening with Paul Pogba. There was some reports saying the week we was confident that we could keep him because we were sceptical that Real Madrid or Juventus could finalise a deal for the player. But, we had Paul Pogba when he was younger, don't forget. Under the Alex Ferguson era, we had him. But obviously, due to limited appearances, we had to let him go on a free transfer. But Pogba is, 27 years of age? He has still got a lot of development in him. But, even when when the season does resume, when Paul Pogba plays again, will he be assured to play on a regular basis, Paul Pogba? Because obviously, we've got Fred, Matic and McTominay that have all done really, really well, and there's no explanation, why I would want to drop them. So, yeah, we'll see what happens anyway. But I think if he leaves, he'll go to Madrid. If he doesn't go to Madrid, he will go to Juventus. But obviously, we've got quite a few players now anyway on our agenda who could replace Paul Pogba. Sol Niguez is being a player on Manchester United's agenda who could replace Pogba. We're going to have to, get him on a club record transfer because Man United would have to pay around £135 million to get Sol Niguez in. But do you think he'd be a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba? Do let me know. Now, I'll delve into news on Harry Kane. I've been talking with you guys about Harry Kane on a regular basis, haven't I? Tottenham have come out and they've quoted out that they want £200 million for Harry Kane in the summer transfer window. So basically, they've priced him out of the market. I'm very, very sceptical that Manchester United will pay £200 million for Harry Kane. Harry Redknapp's give his overarching view on this, by the way, and he believes that Harry Kane must remain loyal to Tottenham. Now, obviously, quite a few days ago, Harry Kane had fueled speculation up by making an admission saying, he could decide to leave Tottenham if he feels as though the team are not progressing. And he did say he will not stay at Tottenham for the sake of it. I do believe, from my own perception, that Harry Kane will end up leaving Tottenham. Now, obviously, Harry Kane has been at Tottenham for several years. He's been, in their senior squad since 2011. And obviously, he's Tottenham's third highest top goal scorer in their history, behind Bobby Smith and Jimmy Greaves. Harry Kane has 181 goals in 261 appearances in all competitions. And in just under 200 Premier League appearances, Harry Kane has 198 Premier League goals. No, not 136 Premier League goals, in just under 200 Premier League appearances. But he has been at Tottenham for several years and he hasn't won anything in terms of silverware. And Harry Kane's ambition is to win some silverware, but he's obviously not experiencing this with Tottenham. And quite clearly, he feels unhappy with Tottenham, does Harry Kane. Now, obviously, I think Ed Woodward is set to have negotiations with Daniel Levy. I think he's excited about this. But as you all know, like I've said before, Daniel Levy is a good businessman, but he is a hard negotiator, when it comes to trying to recruit any players from Tottenham. We've done business with Tottenham in the past, don't forget. We got Dimitar Berbatov from them. We also, got Michael Carrick from them. Michael Carrick enjoyed 12 years at Manchester United. So let's just put that into the equation. So basically, Tottenham have got no intentions of selling Harry Kane. So this is why they said they want around 200 million. He said before that they wanted around 150 million pounds for Harry Kane. Now, obviously, revert back to the summer of 2018. Harry Kane signed a 6-year deal with Tottenham with around £200,000 a week. So as it stands now, he's got 4 years remaining on his contract. Harry Kane has been out of a hamstring injury for at least the last couple of months. But when the season does resume, he will be back in action. So that's good news from a Tottenham perspective. Now, a few clubs have been in for Harry Kane, and the likes of Juventus, Real Madrid. Also to Manchester City have expressed their interest, and I do believe Kane will leave Tottenham. I just am very, very sceptical about him coming to Manchester United. I think there's more chance of him either going to Real Madrid or Juventus, to be quite honest with you. Tottenham can't win anything in terms of silverware this season because they're not in the FA Cup, they're not in the Champions League, they're not in the FA Cup, they're not in the Champions League, and their ambition when the season does resume is to finish fifth because fifth is a Champions League spot, basically in that. But, Tottenham have lost quite a few of their imperative players, so they wouldn't want to lose Harry Kane. Looking at it from a financial point of view, though, they generate a lot of money for his departure. But, they lost Christian Eriksen back in the January transfer window to Inter Milan after he endured 7 years with Tottenham, so he was a long-term player. Don't forget they lost Danny Rose, they lost Gareth Bale back in 2013 to Real Madrid after he enjoyed 6 good years with Tottenham. They lost Luka Modric to Real Madrid. So Tottenham will not want to lose Harry Kane. But it says if Tottenham fail to get qualification for Europe, they'll only have £50 million to spend in the summer transfer window. But I think anyway, Tottenham made a mistake by getting rid of Mauricio Pochettino. Pochettino endured 5.5 years with Tottenham, and analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top four under Mauricio Pochettino. But in the last couple of years of his tenure, they became title contenders, and Pochettino won over 100-odd games as Tottenham manager. But they shouldn't have got rid of him, and obviously they recommended Jose Mourinho win. Jose Mourinho's he's tactically naive. He's got a contract with Tottenham until 2023 is it? He's on around £15 million a year, but the vast majority of Tottenham fans are very, very critical of him, and they do want him out because Mourinho's past his sell-by date. He's no longer manager to the top level anymore. He's got a good pedigree behind him as Jose Mourinho. He's won around 25 major honours in his managerial career, but he's no longer good enough anymore. So, yeah, I think, Tottenham, will end up, selling Harry Kane, but I just don't see him coming to Manchester United. But Man United are obviously in search for a striker. We're in search for a striker, and like I said, there's cheaper solutions than Harry Kane. You've got Aubameyang that'd be available for around 50 million. Timo Werner available for around 50 million pounds. So they'd cost 3 times less than, 4 times less than Harry Kane because Tottenham want around 200 million pounds for him now, and Manchester United are not going to pay that for one player. So yeah, they want 200 million pounds. Even Alan Shearer believes that Harry Kane will end up quitting Tottenham. Gary Lineker, he came out and gave his overarching view on the admission that Harry Kane made. Kane also believes that the season should be scrapped if it doesn't resume by the end of June. And yeah, so that's the latest news on Harry Kane. Now, we will delve into news on Jadon Sancho. Now, Marcus Rashford has come out and admitted that, he wants Jadon Sancho at Manchester United next season because I do believe, Rashford and Sancho would play very, very well together. And they know each other really, really well because they have got a good friendship, of Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho. Now, we are the favourites to sign Jadon Sancho this summer. As you all know, Jadon Sancho is going to cost Manchester United at least £100 million. Or he's going to cost us £120 million. But either figure is going to make him our most expensive signing, and it's going to make him a record signing in the Premier League, and I think the most expensive British player in history. Now, as you all know, Manchester United are willing to offer Jadon Sancho around £400,000 a week, so that would make him the highest paid player of the club, not just the most expensive player at the club. So £400,000 a week, that's double than what Rashford's on, because Rashford's on around £200,000 a week at the football club. Don't forget the Irish Independent, they reported out quite a few days ago saying that it's unofficially confirmed that Sancho will complete a transfer to Manchester United in the summer. This is what it had said. And Man United, of course, are willing to offer him the iconic number 7. Because I think he'd operate very, very well in number 7 with Jadon Sancho. And like I said, we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. Our recent number 7s haven't been so good, because Sanchez endured difficult 18 months at Man United. Also, too, we had Memphis Depay, who endured a pretty difficult time. But I think Sancho would do really, really well. Don't forget the Borussia Dortmund CEO. he came out and said, he will not stand in Jadon Sancho's way if he wants to leave Borussia Dortmund in the summer. But Borussia Dortmund are remaining ruthless over their valuation. So they basically said that Man United have got to pay their full asking price if we had to convince Borussia Dortmund to offload Sancho. So even due to this coronavirus outbreak, they will not let Jadon Sancho go on the cheap. Also, positive news, it said yesterday that Liverpool had dropped out of the race for Sancho, so it's only Man United and Chelsea that are in for him now. And also, too, Man United have been in contact with Jadon Sancho's agent for around 2 months now. And Fabrizio Romano brought this news out the other week. And Fabrizio Romano is a very reliable Italian journalist, and that, this is what he said. But I think we are still working on his contract, by the way. But I think, Jadon Sancho would be the right calibre player for Manchester United. He's now into his 3rd season as a Borussia Dortmund player. He's got 2 years remaining on his contract with Dortmund. But I think since his arrival in Germany, I've got to say he has been a revelation. Borussia Dortmund are going to make a huge profit on the player because Dortmund only paid around £7 or £8 million in from Man City. The beneficial thing is as well is that, he's played in the Premier League before and he's played in Manchester. But he had to leave Man City because he didn't get assured first team opportunities. But yeah, Dortmund will make a huge profit on the player. And Jadon Sancho is only at the age of 20. So he will fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly because Solskjaer still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players to Manchester United. Last year, we was relentlessly linked with Jadon Sancho. But the main explanation why we didn't get him is because we failed to qualify for the Champions League. But Sancho's a player that can create chances. His runs on and off the ball are very, very good. And I think he'd do well alongside the likes of Martial, Rashford and Mason Greenwood. That'd be fantastic, a front three of Sancho, Rashford and Martial, next season. They complement each other really, really well, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, he's leaving Borussia Dortmund at the end of the season because Sky in Germany reported this out back in February that he's expected to leave Borussia Dortmund at the end of the season. And of course, Borussia Dortmund are now looking for an adequate replacement for Jadon Sancho. So yeah, I think he's probably the first signing that Man United are going to make in this summer. And he's going to be our 6th signing overall under the Solskjaer era. And that's providing that Solskjaer is still Manchester United manager next season. But like I said, it's good that, we are making plans for the summer transfer window. Obviously, Solskjaer's got the backing of Ed Woodward. He's also got the backing of the Glazers. Also, quite a few of our players are still determined to back Solskjaer. If he's still here in the summer transfer window, it will be his 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager. Because so far, Solskjaer's enjoyed 3 transfer windows at the club. He didn't recruit anybody in his first transfer window. But obviously, in the past 2 windows, Solskjaer's recruited 5 players in and spent around £220 million at the football club. And you've obviously, you've got to give him a lot of credit, for the players he has recruited in. Also, too, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in because around 9 players have left in total since he's come in. Obviously, we saw Ashley Young leave this year. He went to Inter Milan after he enjoyed 8.5 years at Manchester United. We saw Marcus Rojo go out on loan to Estudiantes. I think we'll negotiate on getting rid of him on a permanent transfer. We saw Chris Smalling go out on loan to Roma. He's done very, very well since he's gone out on loan to Roma. Smalling did enjoy 9 years at Man United, but I think we'll negotiate on getting rid of him on a permanent transfer. Smalling, when his loan spell ends with Roma. Darmian left last summer permanently. He went to Parma. We saw Herrera leave last summer. He went to PSG after he enjoyed 5 years at the club. We saw Fellaini leave back in January 2019. Marian Fellaini left. He was the first player that left under Solskjaer. Solskjaer was still the interim manager, by the way, when we let Fellaini go. He went to China, yeah. And we saw Lukaku leave last summer. He went to Inter Milan. We saw Alexis Sanchez go out on loan to Inter Milan. Like I said, we'll probably negotiate on getting rid of Alexis Sanchez on a permanent transfer. So it'll free up our wage bill completely because, despite the fact that Sanchez is on loan at Inter Milan, we're still paying the vast majority of his wages. But when he was at the club, we was paying Sanchez like £400,000 a week. And obviously, Dean Henderson's out on loan. So we've loaned a few players out, but Dean Henderson's expected to come back to Manchester United after his loan spell with Sheffield United. There's been rumours saying he could become our number one goalkeeper, but probably David De Gea will remain our number one goalkeeper. So it's good that he's got rid of a lot of players, and we've generated some money for some of their departures, of course. But I think we're planning to get rid of around 5 or 6 players in this summer. I think Phil Jones is a player that's going to go. Lingard and Pereira, they're definitely going to go. There's still uncertainty over Angel Gomez's future, but obviously the other week it said that Man United offered Angel Gomez a new contract. I think, like I said, we'll get rid of Rojo permanently, Sanchez permanently, Smalling permanently. I think we possibly, could get rid of Fosu Mensah. So we'll get rid of around 5 or 6 players in the summer transfer window. But, Solskjaer, is still aware that, these deficiencies in the squad that need to be addressed. And he's identified the areas, where he thinks Manchester United need to strengthen up. He's looking to recommend a right winger in, and he's also looking to recommend a central midfielder in. So this is what Solskjaer is looking to do. And Man United, of course, do need a centre forward. And, we have got a lot of good attacking players. Like I said, Rashford was one of our best players earlier on in the season. Rashford has been out for quite some time now. He's been out with a back injury. But the good news is when the season does resume, Marcus Rashford should be back. Solskjaer did actually, say he prefers Marcus Rashford out wide than, playing in number 9. So this is what he had basically said. And up until this point, Rashford has spent the entirety of his career with Manchester United. Martial, like I said to you yesterday, could there be doubts over Anthony Martial's future? Is there a possibility chance that, he could end up leaving Manchester United, Anthony Martial? I wouldn't, let him leave. I think he's a long-term solution for Man United, even though he has endured some difficult spells as a Manchester United player, especially under the Jose Mourinho era. He endured quite a lot of difficult spells. But, Martial now is into his 5th season at the football club. Obviously, this season he's been operating in that number 9, even though he predominantly, plays out on the left, Anthony Martial. So, yeah, I still think he's the long-term solution for the club. And Greenwood's done very, very well this season. This is his first full season in the senior squad with Manchester United. And I've got to give Mason Greenwood a lot of credit. So, we have got a lot of good attacking players, but we still need a centre-forward in there. Definitely we need a centre-forward in there. And like I said to Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. He needs at least one more transfer window to see who else he can recommend in. Because, analysing the vast majority of these players, they are not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. The vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's, and take into account Solskjaer is inheriting them. Because Jose Mourinho recommended 11 players to Manchester United and spent around £400 million at the club. But quite a lot of the players that Mourinho brought in look much better now under Solskjaer. Martial looks better, Rashford looks better. Obviously, he didn't bring Rashford in, but Rashford, was poor wasn't so good under Jose Mourinho. Luke Shaw looks better under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So Solskjaer, you can say, has changed quite a lot of things since he replaced Jose Mourinho. He's changed the players, the tactics, the personnel, and everything else. But the main explanations why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho is because he didn't get on with the top players. He had bad disputes with the board. He did win 2 trophies in his first season, but I feel as though we recommended Jose Mourinho in too late. I've got to be honest with you. Obviously, you've still got Martial and Shaw in that here from the Louis van Gaal era. Obviously, there's still Mata here from the David Moyes era. Moyes recommended Mata and Fellaini, but obviously, Fellaini is no longer here, like I mentioned. And I think there's Jones and De Gea here from the Alex Ferguson era. So, yes, Solskjaer's inheriting them, don't forget. And, Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. We've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era. Manchester United haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers and that. Because Man United are not known for the sacking football club. I'm still very sceptical that Solskjaer is the long-term future for Manchester United. I'm still sceptical that we'll get our 21st title under his guidance, but he does deserve the time because not every manager settles in straight away. Don't forget Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club, so let's just put that into the equation. But it was unbelievable what he went and accomplished when he didn't win out in his first 4 years after that. Obviously, Jurgen Klopp didn't settle in straight away at Liverpool, so he does need more time, does Solskjaer. We're unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions, so that's a positive you can take. His approach to the big games has been very, very good as Solskjaer's. He's progressed us to the last 8 of the Europa League and the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. He's promoted the youth very, very well, so they are the positives so far that you can take from his tenure. And Solskjaer has been here now for 15 months, and he's been permanent Manchester United manager for a year as Solskjaer and that. But yeah, we will see what happens. So that's the latest news on James Maddison. The latest news, on Pogba and Harry Kane and Jadon Sancho and that. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon.